So I found the mindful life practice through one of my old mum friends from Manchester who I've known 15 years. And she knew I was sober and she knew I was getting into yoga, and she is a very connector type of person. And she messaged me on Instagram and said, do you know about the mindful life practice? You need to meet Alex. And I think at the time I was doing a podcast, a short-lived podcast about sobriety. And then I went onto your website, connected with you on Instagram, went onto your website. And I think that evening decided I was going to do the yoga teacher training. So yeah, I just felt like this is perfect for me, because I'd done 10 days of an in-person yoga teacher training, and then it was too intense. It was too much for me. It was during COVID 2021. And then I was like, oh, wow. So I can do the whole thing online. And that just felt like way more doable because I've got 3 kids. I live in the middle of nowhere. And it was COVID, and it just felt like way less intense and scary doing it online with you in that kind of really nice, safe space that you always create. So, Oh my gosh, I love the mindful life practice. I feel like I'm part of it. Like, it feels like a family, and I feel like it's been amazing watching the mindful life practice grow and evolve. It's really helped me with my sobriety. You made me into a yoga teacher. So when I say you, I mean Alex. Alex, the mindful life practice made me into a yoga teacher, which has become my dharma, like my life purpose. So yeah, the mindful life practice has helped with my sobriety, which has not been a smooth, linear transition at all, but that's okay. And it's created a life purpose for me, which has been a really doable life purpose around my family, not just the trainings, but kind of the mindful life practice taught me that you can kind of have a global community online. And now I'm actually branching out into teaching in real life and actually setting up my yoga business, which is a bit scary, but like really cool. And that's all completely down to the mindful life practice. So I came to Bali to do one module of the 300-hour YTT that I'd actually done online previously a year or 2 ago. And I was a little bit worried that by just doing one module, that I was going to be like the interloper into a group that was already like really, really tight. But it took about 15 minutes before I just felt like part of the group and the sisterhood. So I was a little bit worried about that, but that was obviously nothing to worry about. Straight away I realized that was fine. I don't think I was worried about anything. I think because I'd done a retreat with the mindful life practice in Mexico a couple of years ago, I feel like that was me stepping out of my comfort zone, coming away from my 3 kids, traveling on my own for the first time, miles away from home for a week. And so I feel like that paved the way for me to become braver and come to the YTT in person in Bali. So I didn't feel scared this time. No, it was fine. I'm a passionate believer that absolutely anybody can do yoga. And I think the best thing about the mindful life practice is that it's inclusive, it's accessible, and it's very grounded in the roots of yoga, which is not all about the asana, the posture practice. It's very much anchored in the philosophy of yoga, the spirituality of yoga, and very much about self-acceptance and kind of self-inquiry. And so for anyone that's worried about doing a teacher training, I encourage anybody, and literally anybody, that's passionate about yoga to come and explore a teacher training, even if you don't think you'll ever teach, which is a lot of people go, I never thought I'd teach. I only came to do, for something different, and then they teach. Because I think your zone of genius, Alex, is helping people realize that they are enough to teach, even though, like, I feel like I'm like, oh no, other people can do these poses and that, but I have my own strengths and my own gifts that I bring to yoga teaching that's unique to me, and you've helped me realize that that's why I can be a yoga teacher. Like, you don't have to be everything to everybody, you know? So I would encourage anyone that's thinking about doing a YTT to just go for it and be adventurous and just be brave and put yourself in the room and open your mouth and do the thing. And it's like throwing yourself into the deep end, which you did on the first lesson that we ever had. And I feel like it's really helped me to find my voice and my confidence at a time when I really had lost a lot of confidence through years and years of being a stay-at-home mum and not being in like paid employment. So it's been an absolute gift, yeah, and I would say go for it, 21.